Hola muchachos and muchachettes, or whatever you call yourselves. I am having a good day. Okay. So I wanted to get a new blog going, and I wanted to talk a couple things. I hope, well, I always say that it's not going to be a long blog, but it always ends up filling up almost the entire 10 minutes. I am wearing my collection of Lays that I have acquired over the years, and why, I don't know. I just felt like being different. Anyway, so here's what's happening. I had an interview today, and it was a phone interview for undisclosed company, and it was actually, my resume was passed on from a very good friend of mine, Dave Berenson, who thinks that I have what it takes to get this job. Now, went through the phone interview, had a couple call-ins with a recruiter earlier in the week, and he seems that I'm a good fit for it. So I met with, over the phone, I met with the deployment manager, and short of having, it's an engineering job, and there are several different facets to what I would be doing. He seems to think that I have a lot of the qualifications necessary in most of the areas, short of one. And it's an area that's pretty dominant in their company, but it's not something that can't be learned. It's kind of like going in as a trainee versus going in as somebody who's already, you know, been doing it for a year or so. So hopefully it'll work out. The interview seemed to go well, and after, he's a very casual type person, which was very reassuring for me, and took a lot of stress out of the situation. But I have a face-to-face on Friday, and apparently they want me to take a test. It's not an aptitude test, it's more of a previous experience. What do you know? Will you actually fit? They have a belief that a resume is just a piece of paper kind of a thing, and if you really know your stuff, you'll be able to answer the questions. So, I'm hoping that I'll be able to answer the questions. In preparations for this interview, I obviously stressed out a bit, probably had more cigarettes than I should have, drank half a can of Red Bull, and had my water and my pen and all different kinds of paper, all my backup paperwork, everything ready just in case. And of course, because I'm a Facebook whore, as I was on the interview with my iPhone, I was getting message after message after message after message from all these different people, all these different text messages saying, good luck on the interview, hope you're doing well, you know, way to go, blah, blah, blah. And I was using, the iPhone it comes with a headset, or headphones with the built-in microphone, and I, for whatever reason, turned my ringer back on, or my audio on, so every time I'd get a text message or a Facebook or something like that, it would bleep in the background. Well, luckily, the gentleman who interviewed me is also a Mac head, and in the process of our conversation, he's like, so, is a Mac your primary machine? And I said, well, yeah, it's what I use for my web design and all that. And he's like, yeah, I can tell. I can hear the reminder beeps in the background. And I said, yeah, I apologize. My iPhone, you know, isn't on mute and things like that, because I wanted to be able to have this conference call. And he's like, oh, I totally understand. I could be on a call for 3 hours and get 150 emails, so don't worry about it. So that made me feel better. On a second note, off of that topic, because I don't want to talk too much about it, I want to kind of just get it out. I had an interesting experience over the weekend, and I'll make it brief, but basically, as you all know, I'm single, and I'm out in the dating scene, and there is, I've been dating here and there, you know, whatever, kind of seeing what's out there, and seeing, you know, if starting a relationship is right for me again right away, or if I should just be dating. So I've been keeping everything very, very casual. And I met this guy online, and I know what you're thinking already, but feel me out here. Met this guy online, and we got to talking back and forth via text message, instant messaging, whatever. And seems like a nice guy. His pictures looked good. We talked about what I'm doing, what he's doing, all of that. And normally I catch some red flags or some concerns that will kind of either push me away from talking to them or moving on and continuing forward. Well, maybe I was just too enthusiastic about the whole situation, but there were a couple things I forgot. Now, he explained his life to me as far as what he's doing and, you know, all that. He said that he works part-time because he's in school, and that he lives out in the boonies, or Hartford. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I didn't think anything of that. And his pictures are cool. I mean, he looks cute, whatever. And he had a great personality. And as we continued on the conversation and decided that maybe, hey, it might be a nice idea to meet up somewhere and talk and get to know each other a little bit better face to face, he tells me that we should probably meet somewhere neutral because he's not familiar with Milwaukee as far as driving around, and he's not comfortable inviting me over to his house. I completely understand that. First of all, who wants a stranger coming to your house the first day? Well, as it turns out, as we talked, he said, well, because he's in school, he still lives with his parents. I'm like, okay, well, that happens. I mean, if you're in college and, you know, you want to save money and actually build your career, yeah, you're going to work part-time. Yeah, you might live with your parents. But he drives, he has a car, you know, he has a job. It looked like he had things going on. So we decided that a nice middle ground would be Brookfield Square. They have restaurants, we could walk around and shop, you know, just casual, nice get-to-know-you type stuff. Get to Brookfield Square, and I'm sitting there, and he texts me, and he says, I'm on my way, blah, blah, blah. When he gets there, my jaw almost fell to the floor. Allow me to explain. He has a part-time job, and he lives with his parents because he's in school. High school. Yes. Yes, my blind date, as it were, is a senior in high school who just turned 18 in July. Why? So I'm thinking to myself, okay, great. How do I get out of this? Well, I couldn't. He's a nice guy. We talked. We walked around the mall. We parted ways. No, you know, no hanky-panky or anything like that. And it was kind of like, so are we going to, you know, he's like, are you going to call me later? Are we going to hang out again? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, let's take it one step at a time. We'll see what's going on. And, well, now, as most 18-year-olds do, he is overwhelming me with text messages and voicemails and, oh my God, this and that. And apparently, he made the decision to tell his parents that he was on a date with a 28-year-old. And so now he's throwing all this drama at me. And I am washing my hands of the whole situation because that's not my thing, okay? And it's funny because I was out with my friend Sherry, and we were at darts, and we were talking about it, and we were playing 301, and I had 19 points left on the board, and I hit a 19 and 1. And Sherry goes, oh, you're moving up in the world. You're up to 19-year-olds now. And it's funny, but it's not, because I got a text message from him that night, Monday night, 2 for 1, at 9:45 saying, why aren't you answering my texts? Because I was busy. I told him I was going to be out and busy, and I'm not one who can just, you know, constantly sit on my iPhone. Well, I kind of am, but whatever. So he sends me this text message saying, you got to answer me quick because I have to be in bed by 10. He has a curfew of 10 o'clock. Oh, so over it. Anyway, that's my funny story for the week, and I will vlog again later. Bye.